Hi everybody, I'm 𝐶𝐈𝐵 𝐶𝐚𝐭𝐢𝐨𝐵. I'm a motivational speaker, a columnist, and an educationist by profession. It's tough times and challenging times. I'll be more than willing to help you as a motivational speaker. So you can watch me on my Facebook page, 𝐶𝐈𝐵 𝐶𝐚𝐽𝐈𝐵, and let's join hands to actually bring some relief in these stressful times during COVID-19. See you all.
Very smart and young co-moderator, 𝐶𝐈𝐵 𝐶𝐚𝐽𝐈𝐵, who's going to talk about, not just co-host with me, but also talk about a very important aspect of finding the right balance between work, home, and the commitments that come in all these lives for us. So without wasting any more time, 𝐶𝐈𝐵, would you like to introduce Manisha to us?
Hi, welcome everybody. What outstanding sessions have been online since 11 a.m. and kudos to HEAL Foundation for putting up the show, and the panelists and the speakers were fantastic since 11 a.m. I want to welcome here a very talented Indian film actress, the Hindi film actress, leading lady of Yash Raj Films in the most popular movie, we all have seen it, Bachna Hai Hasino, opposite Ranbir Kapoor. We've heard of a lot. There's a long list of movies which I can introduce to you, like Kidnap, opposite Imran Khan, Yahan, which was critically acclaimed, directed by Sujit Sarkar. No one can forget her in Honeymoon Travels. Shaurya was one of her definitely much acclaimed performances. She's hosted a variety of television shows which we all have been glued to, like the Zee Cine Awards, the Stardust Awards, the Screen Awards. All these awards, she's artistically so beautifully anchored them. Hailing from a professional background of parents, she was spotted by Sujit Sarkar in a commercial which he was directing, and then the career began, and then sky was the limit for her. Extremely active in both English and Hindi theatre, she is a voracious reader, a pet lover, like we just saw if we glued on like 5 to 10 minutes back, and a poker enthusiast. Let me welcome here the talented Indian film actress, Manisha Lamba. Hi, Manisha, welcome to the show, to the largest e-health summit. Welcome, Manisha.
Thank you so much and congratulations. It's not easy pulling off such a big endeavor like this and coordinating so much. So a huge congratulations to HEAL Foundation and all of you behind it who pulled this off so successfully.
So Manisha, we are, a lot of us here, we all want to know, how has life changed for you after the lockdown? We want to be asking you some really cool questions in here so that we get to get an insight about your life. And we want to know about your lifestyle pattern also during lockdown.
Okay. Ask away, whatever you need to ask.
All right, all right. So how has life been during the lockdown period for you, Manisha?
So, well, actually, honestly, I'm like a cat. I like staying home. I'm anyway a homebody. So the lockdown exactly hasn't been a change for me. It's not such a big lifestyle change. It is a problem for a lot of people who are very active, who are go-getters, people who cannot sit at home. Yes, for them, you know, for personality types like that, for people like that who always are on the go, yes, this lockdown is prison. It has been something that has been very difficult to cope with. And then I'm sure it also gets very difficult to cope with for the people who also live in larger families. For me, it's been easy. As I said, I'm anyway a homebody. This is like nothing different for me. I've had a lot of practice, just like being home, reading my books, watching my shows, playing with my pets and all of that. So this is like, okay, fine. Now the whole world is doing what I generally enjoy doing.
This is coming as key insights, because it's quite inspiring for all of us to hear this. But to add on, before I take in Dr. Bhavna, who has to comment on these important parameters which Manisha just mentioned. Manisha, we also want to ask you that how about the women? What do you have to say to women who just don't feel like dressing up at the moment, and who just want to be coming from a background where physical appearance and even internally feeling good is important? So we want some cool tips from you on there. So during the lockdown period, yeah.
So the thing is that sometimes it can be a relief also, that you don't have to get up and wear your best clothes and be out and about. That can also be relaxing for the first couple of days, where you can just be. But after some time, I do feel when such an extended lockdown happens, in order for you to feel, a little boost of your own self-esteem, for you to do something in the day, there's nothing wrong in wearing clothes that you would go out in, putting on a little makeup, doing your hair. No one's going to see you, just the people at home. But just doing something like that can make you, bring a spring in your step. If you're feeling down, if you're feeling, now the lockdown is extended, so it's not going to live for another 2 weeks at least. So these are the small things that you can do. There's no harm in wearing kajal, wearing lipstick, putting on earrings to match a nice outfit, and walk about the house like that. Wear your high heels, wear your favorite shoes. You don't have to be wearing chappals and PJs all day long.
Very well said, Manisha. Here I'd like to bring in Dr. Bhavna, Senior Clinical Psychologist from Fortis Escorts. Dr. Bhavna, Manisha has given us quite an insight about being the real you during lockdown. We'd like your comments there. What are your views on what she's saying?
Yeah, I think I'm very, very happy to be here, and I'm very happy that Heal India has chosen such a beautiful e-health summit, and I'm equally happy to see that very beautiful smile that Manisha always had and is still persisting. And I think leading on from there, let me just probably start with happiness. And I was just looking at all the happy faces, just all of us staying connected on this beautiful panel itself is bringing us happiness. So I was just redefining happiness from a psychological perspective. And I thought maybe we can redesign the definition of happiness as being with what is happening. Because if you take the HAPP of happening and you take the HAPP of happy, and we merges together and we become happy in wherever and whatever is happening, I think a lot of our stress will run down. What is very important is that we need to accept. We need to accept what is happening. And at this point of time, I think Manisha very beautifully said that something has been happening. It is getting prolonged, which is the lockdown. So we need to accept the fact psychologically that the lockdown is happening. The lockdown is here. But, okay, that may be out of our control. But what is in our control? In our control is our thoughts. So whatever is in our control in the happening is what we need to focus on. And in case our thoughts are in our control, then we can actually give it a direction. And the more positive the direction we give to our thoughts, the more happiness we generate. And then the vicious cycle comes along. And the direction that we need to give to our thoughts can also come with a passion. The direction can also come with a variety. So when you combine your direction, attach an emotion to it, and add a variety to it to break the monotony, I think you can recreate a very beautiful life in even this new normalcy phase.
Thank you, Bhavna. This was a beautiful summation of what Manisha also told us. I love the fact that she told us that you can just get up and dress just for yourself. I can't tell you how happy today I am to wear lipstick and eyeliner and do my makeup and get dressed to come for this webinar. So it's given me also a purpose today. Right, Shagun?
That was lovely. Actually, Soni, I mean, even after ages, even I put on a lipstick today. I don't know how many days, but now I'm going to be doing it more often after Dr. Manisha.
Sorry, you should do that
So,
for the next 2 weeks. Wear
Manisha?
lipstick, wear kajal every single day, put on your high heels and click, clickety click about the whole house.
Definitely, definitely. So, Manisha, like Dr. Bhavna just mentioned, giving direction to your thoughts. So, we want to know what is the direction towards your fitness regime these days? What are you doing actually to keep yourself fit?
So I'm doing a lot of home exercises. Luckily for me, I have some ankle weights and I have some wrist weights. So that's some resistance that I have at home. And now if you go online, you just have to go online and Google exercises. And there are millions and millions of people out there giving you tutorials. So every day there's something different you can do. If you want, you can go on YouTube. You can choose a cardio exercise that you want to do, put it on your laptop. The music is on, and for 1 hour you can do a hardcore high intensity class. So if there ever had to be a global lockdown, we have so many tools at our hands to keep ourselves busy. Your workouts will not be going for a toss because you'll have a wide variety of stuff and expert instructors available to guide you through any kind of workout that you need. So that's exactly what I am doing. And just that 1 hour, 1.5 hour of exercising hard and having that endorphin rush, flood your brains, you flood your brain and body is very, very important for your well-being. Because if you don't exercise, I mean, everyone knows that if you don't exercise, you don't feel good. But right now, especially, because if you have pent up energy and you have energy that needs to be released, you need to exercise, like need to.
Yeah, true. Very true, Benisha. In fact, Ritika, our nutritionist, can also give us a few pointers on how to maintain the balance between fitness and diet in these times. Nutrition, fitness, dieting, are these good words or bad words in these times, Ritika?
Hi, good evening, all of you. Pleasure being over
Ritika,
here.
you'll need to switch your mic on. You're muted at the moment. Can you switch your mic on?
It's unmuted.
All right, okay. Oh, we seem to have lost her. Ritika, you coming back?
I think we've lost her, Soni.
Yeah.
We can.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Manisha, are you there with us till the dietitian comes in sync with your conversation? Manisha, if you're there.
So I just say something very interesting about dieting. I don't think it's a bad word at all. Because what has happened in today's world, there's a large section of people that are eating disproportionate to what their professions are, right? We need to diet. Why? Because our bodies are not moving enough. And for certain people, it's just physically not possible to get movement in their day, because you go to office, you sit in a car, you go to office, you get into an elevator. We don't even climb stairs anymore. You get into an elevator and you're sitting all day long. And that is your work. You can't help it. So therefore, dieting suddenly has become a bad word. Or suddenly it's not a bad word, because what we eat is disproportionate to our body is moving. And as technology becomes better, the need for us to move our bodies is becoming lesser and lesser, unless of course you are in a particular kind of job where you have to move around, right? So the only way to counteract that is to make sure that there is a calorie deficit in what you put into your body, because there's no other way then for you to remain fit.
Right, correct. Very well said. I think laziness should not walk in the current scenario for lockdown. And I think that's very, very inspiring to hear that where there's a will, there's a way. One can always be extremely fit during the lockdown, right, Soni? Yeah?
Yeah. Am I audible right now?
Yes, Ritika, we'll come to you now.
Hi, good evening, all of
yes,
you.
Soni, very much. Yes.
Yeah. Hi, good evening, everybody. So, so what Manisha said, definitely this is the right time to probably get your life sorted out, get into more balance. But what I would say would be the right word to use would be a healthy living, right? So we just need to get into a healthy lifestyle. And of course, the diet plays the major important role in that, along with your exercise and the other lifestyle modifications which you need. So, during this time, it's been about a month plus, and we have another 2 weeks to go. the constant questions which I get to hear from everybody, whether somebody is moving out of the house as working professionals like we are healthcare workers, we go to the hospital every day, and even for people who are actually locked inside the house, the constant question is, of course, one is, of course, how do I build up my immunity this time, right? So that's one thing. The second is, of course, I think the constant questions which everybody is asking is, I should not be putting on weight and make sure that at least I lose a couple of kilos by the time, while I'm inside. So yes, this is a good time to probably modify your diet, because good thing which has happened is that you're completely out from junk foods. So you're not moving out, so you're not eating out. The weekends, which usually like people, especially in the metropolitans, used to move out and eat. So that has completely been off. But on the other hand, sorry to say, but thanks to Google, people have been venturing into the kitchen. Everybody in the family wants to cook something. And obviously all the delicacies are being made, loaded with fats and calories. So at the end of it, I'm sure there'll be a couple of people who would have really put on weight also, because they're trying different culinary skills and trying out different dishes. So you really need to strike a balance, and that is where we need to find out what is healthy and what is unhealthy for us.
Thanks, Ritika. Vinisha, are you also busy in the kitchen at times?
I don't know how to cook, but I'm an expert at eating everything. So whoever has a desire to be in the kitchen and cook, I say, please go ahead and do it. I am not interfering in your department at all. I have no desire to cook, but I'm indiscriminate to trying anything that you would make. I will not judge it. I will try it.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Vinisha. We'll come back to you. I'd like to bring in Sudhir at this point. Sudhir, can you hear me? Am I audible? Am I audible to everyone? I can't get
okay.
Okay. Hey, Sudhir, we've been talking about working at home, and at this point of time, the kind of pressures that women are facing in terms of their own internal pressures of having to seeing the line between work at home and work from home completely all crazy, and the expectations from the employers being so high, the pressure and job security is almost not there. So from the legal point of view, can you tell us, can I be fired from a job at this point of time?
So I will take you on a more rounded discussion on this. First would be that this is the best time that any kind of domestic violence or any kind of assault or any kind of improper treatment by employer or family or husband or son-in-law is coming to light, also because police is very agile. Lawyers are free across the world. They are not going to any court. They have too much of free time. So there is more reporting of cases actually. That is the first thing, because you are reading in all the TV channels and news channels that domestic violence has increased. It has increased, but it's also the fact that there's a higher reporting. That is point number one. Point number two is that my own feeling is that being with a lot of men around in the house when they are not going to office and they have an added load so far as their domestic course are concerned. That's the first point. And the second thing is that a lot of employers are surely taking advantage of women where they would not have taken advantage by virtue of this fact that they are pregnant or they are on a long leave for a health reason. But now they are taking advantage. And as a lawyer and as a person who goes to court, I can see that everything is being now covered or quoted in the name of COVID or in the name of Corona. And there is no distinction which the law will make between men and women if you are fired from a workplace, let me tell you. But women always, in my understanding, enjoy more power under the India's legislations. It's the only thing which I said right in the beginning, that the lawyers and the police and the law enforcement authorities are at your back and call like never before, because they all are glued to every house and you have a greater surveillance system in the country across the world. So there is more reporting which is happening. The second point, which is on a lighter note, I'll say that more than like the topic is that how women are coping up with lockdown, I would say that how men are coping with lockdown. Like a person like me who has to go to Khan market every day, or who is not allowed non-veg food at his home, ask me what problems I am facing. In fact, women are there in my office who are consoling me. Don't worry, sir. It's just a matter of few more weeks. You will come out and you'll be fine. You'll be able to get your normal food. So I think it's a very different kind of world we are looking at, but I don't think women will be discriminated at all so far as the workplace is concerned.
Like that was
They become very sensitive and they are taking care of it.
But in terms of legal, from the legal point of view, as an employer now, if I am not getting any business and I don't have any money to pay salaries and I need to lay off people, what do I do? I mean,
so I confronted that situation running the third biggest litigation firm in Delhi. I have two of my partners are almost 15 years younger, both women. And three of us decided that we'll take a 25% cut for everybody, including me and all the employees who are working under me, because there's no revenue, literally no revenue, because you're not going to courts, you have no advisory happening. What has come as a surprise that employees are also understanding, because if you typically ask me what the law provides you pay everybody. That's what the National Disaster Management Act has said, that you will not sack anybody, you will pay the full wages. But when it comes to practicality, and women being always more sensitive to these things, they have come out and they have said, okay, fine, you can't pay me completely. More than a men, they have been more generous, more understanding to that situation. But enforcing this particular provision in a court of law, that will be tested when the courts will open. We are far from that position right now.
Oh, thank you, Sudhir. Manisha, I'd like to bring you in on this issue as well, about domestic violence and abuse that women might be facing in their homes. Do you think the issue is something which has worsened because of lockdown?
The women who are in relationships, marriages with men who have been their abusers, it's worse for them because there's nowhere else a man is going to go. She is constantly a victim in that house. There's no relief, right? And my only prayer and my only wish is that just like as a society, how we've come together and we are tackling life in COVID, I just hope that neighbors, if they hear a scream, if they know what's going on, if they know violence is going on in a neighbor's house, I just wish then neighbors would say, you know, even this is something that is our business. And walk in there and you know, I'm not saying street justice. I'm not saying that there should be vigilantism. What I'm saying is, as a community, if we can come together and we can help out the older people in our building and get groceries for them, we can definitely interfere and be there for the women, our neighbors, who are in situations, volatile situations like this. Because I don't think abusers are born right now. I think that the women who are already in abusive relationships and situations are even more vulnerable because there's no escape.
True, very true, Manisha. It's a question, it's a situation which has been simmering. And yes, Sudhir?
I just wanted to say what Manisha said is absolutely right. I need to just add one point on that when the lockdown was about to start in Delhi, I did a matter, and which is still going on. It's a very strong matter, so where the husband was and the family members and the sister-in-law and others were abusing the girl who was a daughter-in-law of that family in Haryana. Let's call it Haryana. And the girl's parents stay in UP. So what we did, we made it sure that the girl actually comes back to her house on 21st, which was Saturday, 21st of March. And then we sent a notice to them for domestic violence and 498 CRPC, which is basically cruelty against your wife, which was sent right in the lockdown. Now, the best part is none of the sister-in-laws, Bua, Fufa, Chachaji, Tauji, who were giving gyan on a daily basis, could come and sit together and do a panchayat against the daughter-in-law. So that was a very hilarious situation that they were like trying to reach out of a glass house and nobody was able to help them. So it really requires, what Manisha said is very important, that if you raise your voice at this point of time, everybody is attentive to listen to you, whether it's a neighbor, whether it's a local police, whether it's a law enforcement authority. They are normally otherwise very busy with elections, public duty or whatever.
Very validly.
I, as a human being, don't understand when a screaming voice is heard. Why will a neighbor not interfere? If I heard a screaming voice, I would be in the neighbor's house. I know it's none of my business. Maybe the woman herself will tell me, this is not your business, do not interfere. But that doesn't mean that I will go. Right? And that is something to adopt worldwide.
Yeah, and I think
just to add to the abuse which we are discussing, I'd like to ask you that you know, the real concurrent problem which people are facing, which most of us are aware of in genuine, is that over smoking and taking to alcohol, because everybody is free, locked up in their houses. You don't have an outlet to step out. My question is both addressed to Sudhir and Manisha both. You know, you could take on your take on it of, you know, how do you deal with this situation? And Manisha, what are the ill effects that you know, sleeping late and consuming an overdose of smoking and alcohol which people are taking to? What do you think is this? How do you deal with this issue during the lockdown period specifically?
Well, I don't know how people are dealing with not smoking and drinking. My problem actually is a sugar problem. I need dessert. So luckily, 𝐇𝐄𝐀𝐋 and Zomato and everyone delivers. So my addictions are taken care of. I don't have a problem. Yes, for the people who need to drink and who don't have access to cigarettes now because, you know, cigarette shops are closed, it is then tough on the people who you're living with, because yeah, it's probably would be tough.
Yeah, so I think here there are both things. It is a boon or a bane. I think after Sudhir discusses, I'd like to take on what Manisha has just said as well.
So
Yes,
this is Shagun asked a thing. I'll just take 1 minute to say that Shagun, you raised a very important point about these addictions. So even in the legal fraternity, I have got calls from my both the colleagues, whether it's a male colleague or a female colleague, saying that I'm not getting my cigarette or I'm not getting my this particular thing. And that has led to very violent reaction in the house, a complete fallout with your wife or a husband. And these are the things which are also triggered by the fact that you can't even go down your house and even do a jog, or you can walk in the area. So you are facing each other for too much of time. And whether it's your brother, whether it's your husband, whether it's anybody, and you are addicted to all those things. Honestly speaking, I have no answer to this. So far the law is concerned, what answer I'll have? It's more a social system you will have which will come to your rescue.
Yes, we'll have Dr. Bhavna commenting on to complete
sure.
your chat definitely on this. Yeah. Yeah.
No,
Yes,
I
Dr.
think
Bhavna.
I would also agree with what Sudhir is saying, and in continuation to what Manisha just said, I think this is a phase which is very, very challenging, and we need to understand that there is a psychological stress that is all pervasive around us, and that psychological stress needs adaptive coping. And as far as cigarette and alcohol is concerned, I think that has been one of the most socially acceptable ways of coping. But since we are redesigning our life, I would also suggest that can we find alternatives? Like in the beginning of this interaction, I was saying that let's find the variety that of what we can do besides what we have always been doing. So we understand that, yes, this is a phase where there is an all-pervasive stress. We understand that smoking and alcohol in this context was a very important part of your lifestyle. But in this new normalcy, probably the non-availability of itself, of the substance itself, can be a beginning for you to start a new normalcy for yourself. So maybe with the acronym of START itself, you can set a date, which is the first S. You can set a date that what do I do because these are not available to me. So can I offer myself better coping strategies so that my stress level, my anxiety, my aggression doesn't build up, which translates into a lot of interpersonal conflict as well, like what we were discussing. So the first S of START becomes set a date to modify your coping strategies. Then is T, which is the second word of START. Tell your family and your friends that I am doing this. I am reducing or eliminating the substance of alcohol or smoking, because one, of non-availability, and secondly, because I am going to be adding on some better coping strategies, so that they understand and acknowledge that yes, you might go through certain challenges and they can help you with it, which is the next of START, which is STA, anticipate the challenges, and you've already communicated it. Then is R, that means remove the substances because they are not available, but add on certain other coping strategies which will help you. And then if required, you can also take help. You can, say that I acknowledge the fact that I was, if it was to an addictive level, going through this, and I take charge of my life to create a better life and a better lifestyle for myself and for everybody else around me as well.